Silent Hill is easily one of the greatest survival horror game series of all time. It set the bar high and paved the way for many survival horror games to come. Just like any other video game, the Silent Hill games went through a good amount of changes throughout development. With that being said, here's all the cut content from the Silent Hill series. The starting screen for Silent Hill 1 was originally going to look much different. Shown here we can see its initial design. This start screen remained used in the Japanese and European versions. In the game, the bottomless pits were intended to be death traps just like in later games in the series, but it's impossible to fall into any of the bottomless pits through normal gameplay. However, if you hack the game and force yourself into one of them, you will instantly be killed, regardless of your health. The boat was originally meant to be drivable. It would have been able to reach the lighthouse. This can be evidenced by Harry looking at the steering wheel, although it does nothing. One of the enemies, known as Grey Children, only appears in the North American version. However, in the European and Japanese versions, they're replaced with mumblers. The reason for this is that the Grey Children seem too much like real-life children. For unknown reasons, there's a newspaper article that's missing in the North American version that reveals a little bit about Alessa's past. The article is located on stage 3F of Nowhere, shortly before the end of the game. It only appears if the player has read through all the documents scattered around the game. Here is what the article states. Investigation stalled. PTV dealers are still at large. Suspicious deaths continue. First, the anti-drug mayor, now a narcotics officer, dies of a sudden heart failure of an unknown cause. Fire broke out in town. 6 homes destroyed. Charred body of Alessa found in the aftermath. Cause of fire currently under investigation. Investigations show the source as the basement of Alessa's home. Blaze now believed to be caused by malfunction of the boiler. The puppet nurse had a beta model that had different textures and a different shape of the parasite on the back of the nurse. On the diner map, there was an unused event which displayed a to be continued message followed by a coming soon text over a picture of Dahlia before kicking the player back to the main menu. This was most likely used in one of the various demo discs that had a playable Silent Hill 1 demo. Silent Hill had an unused room that can be seen here. It seemed to be some sort of lounge area. There are also 3D models of unused areas in the hospital and in the school. There are files for 7 monsters that are present on the disc, but these enemies never appear in the game. These enemies include a butterfly with eye and teeth markings on its scales, a creature that looks very similar to a manta ray, a frog-like enemy, a monkey with a bruised face and a bloodied mouth, a rather huge flesh-colored creature vaguely resembling an ostrich, a snake with an unusually long pointed tongue, and a heavily contorted chicken. The logo of Silent Hill 2 was originally slightly different. The original logo's font was the name as the first game's logo, with a key difference being the color change. The logo was soon changed to what it is now to deliver a more diverse, unique style to help show that the sequel would be vastly different from the first game. In the game, there were 2 scrapped audio logs. The first one consists of Mary's voice reading the letter received by James from Laura in the hotel. The next one is a disturbing and haunting audio once played of Mary being suffocated while watching James's video recording of him and his wife in Silent Hill. So there was actually plans for Pyramid Head to approach the player on the streets of Silent Hill. We can see this in a video of the Silent Hill 2 prototype. Silent Hill 2 originally had a mini-map displayed in the top right corner, giving you a rough idea on where to go. The game also had a feature that allowed you to save the game anywhere. An unused version of the Brookhaven Hospital exists within the game. Most notably, this has no enemies or music. It also has various different camera angles compared to its used counterpart, as well as a glitched box puzzle. This map was shown at the Tokyo Game Show back in 2001. The iconic Pyramid Head was originally going to look much different. Instead of the pyramid helmet, the creature was going to wear a much different mask, which can be seen here. Silent Hill 3 had a few unused animations, being an animation for the closer enemy climbing a lower level, an animation of the memory of Alessa dismounting a horse on the Happy Carousel, and animations of Heather looking behind her and moving her head. One sound file omitted from the final version is the frightening noise of a baby crying in another room, meant to be heard on the 3rd floor of Hilltop Center. Though it is unknown why it was exactly removed from the game, it is possible that the developers found it too disturbing even for Silent Hill standards. In the game files, there's an unused photo of Heather and Harry on the game disc. It can also be seen in the apartment texture files, suggesting it was located in the apartment. The text attached to the picture reads, "It's of Dad and me at Christmas. Looking at this makes me want to try even harder. I have to, ... I can't lose. They killed my dad and they have to pay for it." The game had one unused item, which was a set of batteries. This item likely could have been used for a flashlight. Silent Hill 3 went through a lot of graphical changes during development. This includes minor changes to character models, enemies, files, and locations. Silent Hill 4 had two scrapped enemies. The first one is a creature that has a striking resemblance to the Grim Reaper. It appears to be equipped with some sort of sharp tool. The next creature unfortunately has no concept art, but the description was a double-headed creature. The producer stated, "We implemented almost everything we wanted to include in the game. However, some of the creatures couldn't be included. There was this creature that had two heads with one body, which is ethically not well accepted to the public, so we didn't let it into the final game." The UFO ending is very common for Silent Hill games, but unfortunately Silent Hill 4 The Room never got one. However, there were originally plans to include one. In this UFO ending, there was quite a few scrapped items which I will go over now. An item named the Channeling Stone is found in the hidden room at the end of the hall in Henry's apartment, suggesting that it could have been located there. The courtyard key was another scrapped item. The description reads, "An old-fashioned key. 4S Churchyard has been carved onto it." And the last scrapped item is red oil. The description reads, "A special balm for exorcism. If thrown on the ground, a large area will be exorcised." Silent Hill Origins included a few scrapped enemies. The Afflicted was an enemy that could have been compared to a zombie based off looks. This enemy was seen in the prototype version of the game, and we do have a 3D animation of the creature swinging its arms. We can also see an earlier design of the creature through concept art. And lastly, there is footage in the beta version that shows Dr. Kaufman examining a dead Afflicted. This enemy, known as Meat, appears to be a walking meat carcass. This creature appeared in the 2006 beta trailer but never appeared in the final game. The Wheelchair Monster is a monster resembling a decrepit man sewn to a wheelchair. The only footage we have of this creature is a 3D animation showing it crawling about. This next enemy was based on the concept of a miner. It appears to be wearing some type of gas mask, and the pickaxes seem to be infused with its flesh. This next enemy type was based on the concept of a bellhop that was conceived for the Riverside Motel portion of the game. For those of you who don't know what a bellhop is, they are basically hotel employees that assist guests to their room, helps with luggage, and runs errands. Going off this information, maybe this creature could have played some sort of stalker type role, following you around the motel. And lastly, we have the Piercer enemy. Its description is a boss creature with a similar anatomy to a scorpion. We do have footage of the Piercer in the 2006 beta trailer and a 3D animation of it striking its victim. The files of Silent Hill Shattered Memories contain quite a few filters that never made it into the final game. This includes a flashlight view, a first-person view, a black and white view, and a night vision view. Silent Hill Homecoming has quite a bit of unused dialogue. This includes an alternative intro with Alex and Judge Holloway, unused dialogue for the Hunter, an unused tape for a radio show, an unused tape for the patient interview, the mayor's unused song, and the unused dialogue for Alex. If you are interested in listening to any of this, there is a link in the description to a playlist containing all of the dialogue. There is also one unused animation that never made it into the final game. Silent Hill's PT included two unused enemies. The first one is an incredibly large creature resembling a lanky torso with a missing head. Shown here is the other scrapped creature. Its description is an enemy resembling a muscular man with gray skin. And there you have it. That is all the cut content from the Silent Hill series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.